Hey guys, Jordan here from VFX Vault again, and this is just going to be a quick product guide going over how to set up and install and use the custom skin effects from VFX Vault. So first things first, when you download it, you'll be given a zip file. The zip file will contain everything that you need. So you'll be given a zip file named Premium VV Skins Effects 01. You want to open that and you want to come to your content folder for your UEFN project. You can find it by right clicking on your base folder and go show in Explorer. Then we're here in the folder that says content. Make sure we're at the root folder. Open something like WinZip or 7-Zip something and drag the folder out into your content browser. Don't right click and go extract, because it will name the folder something differently and then it will break the references. We need to make sure it's called this one here, VV Skin Effects. And then when we open it, it'll have the character effects. So after you've unzipped the product, you probably won't be able to open the level because of the way UEFN works with migrating levels. I can't migrate this level from my PC to yours, but you will still have all the same content. So if you want to check out and set up these different effects, what you can do is you can come into the level, you can find the VFX power up device. So you go all power up and come down to the VFX power up, the VFX power up device, and then once you've selected that, you want to come to the details panel. You want to make sure that infinite effect duration is checked. Then you want to set the time to respawn to 1 or whatever you want to set it to, and then we go custom effect, and then we can choose the effect inside of the effects that we want. So we come over to systems if we want colors, galaxy, gradients, rainbows, and we can plug in whichever effect we want. So if you want to actually preview what the effect looks like, open up the Niagara system and then we can just zoom in to see what the effect kind of looks like. You can plug it in, and now we want to also make sure that the custom effect socket is on the center. Now when we pick up this effect, it's going to be tied to our player. Now there's 31 different variations, but I'm going to quickly go over how we can set up slightly different variations or change some of the parameters if you want to have slightly different looks. So we have 31 different variations, and let's say you want to change a certain variation. Let's say that you like this red version here. Now we can press G if these little power-ups aren't showing. We select the power-up. We come to the Niagara system that the power-up is using. We can double-click on the Niagara system, and then we can select the mesh renderer and we select the material. So in the material instance, you'll see here we've got a bunch of different settings where we can change some of the parameters. So we can change the gradient texture or the distortion, but this one here is using a tint color. So we're using a flat color because we've set the tint color blend to 1. We can also set the emissive intensity and a few other extra parameters here. So if we have this window open, when we look inside of the level, we can obviously change the color here to white or blue or purple or green, whatever we need. And if we want to keep this version but create a new version, what we can also do is we can come to that material instance, we can right click and we can duplicate, and we'll call this one flat purple, and then we want to make a new Niagara system. So we'll find any Niagara system in our colors folder, in our systems folder, and we'll go duplicate, and we'll call this one, we'll change from red to purple edge glow. And wait for it to load. And then with that purple edge glow, we can come in and then reference our new material. Now inside of the Niagara system, you can also turn on the character preview just to see what it looks like. And then we can create, we can come in, we can find the new purple one that we created. It might be a little difficult to find, so we can just sort by purple at the top here. and we can find this one here, glow flat purple is the new one we created, and let's open that one up, and we'll come into our new Niagara system, the character edge purple glow. Make sure we have it selected in our content browser, and then we'll plug it in, and then on the flat purple glow we can come in and change the color to say purple. Now you see inside of our effect it's changed to purple. So the next thing we can do is we have access to a few different settings. We can preview it inside of the level, so let's just drag off one of these here, and we'll apply our new material to it, our flat purple material to it, and we'll just select here, and that's the incorrect one, so sorry, we'll go flat purple, and we plug the flat purple in. So when we open that, we have it here. We have a few different settings, so we can set the texture scale, which would be used on, say, these different ones over here, like the galaxy textures and the stars textures. We can set the texture scale and the panner speed, how fast are these textures moving. The noise scale is if we want to warp it and distort it, but this one does not use any noises, so we just set that to 0, as well as the sphere Fresnel. These sphere settings are for setting how harsh or how soft are the edges fading around the sphere that's projecting this texture onto our character, as well as the edge Fresnel. So we can have it with the edge add, we can have it just kind of affecting the edges of our mesh, our character, instead of the whole thing, but we'll just leave it to 0 for now. And then the reverse depth fade and the depth fade is for determining sort of how far behind or in front of our object is it projecting, because this projects based on depth to the character from the sphere that you can see is around our character. So we may need to play with some of these settings. Now the one big downside to this technique is it will project sometimes on geometry. Let's say we have squares or cubes next to our character, it's going to also sometimes project onto that geometry. You can see here it's a little hard to see, but it's turning a little bit pink or purple. So that's just one thing to keep in mind with this approach, but the way we've set it up here, it should be fine, and it should project onto most of our characters. Now there's one more setting to go over inside of our system. So for each system we have a mesh scale and an offset setting, where we can increase the sort of size of the sphere or the offset of the sphere as it's attached to our character. So if you have a bigger character that you might want to put this on, then we need to come in and make a new Niagara system. We'll duplicate this one and make a bigger mesh scale. We can set the mesh scales here, or if we want to move it up and down, we use a different offset. So I hope that was helpful. If you've got any other questions, comments, concerns, please let me know in the comments below. You can DM me here or on Twitter or on Discord. You can join the Discord if you've got any other questions or if you're stuck on anything. I'll be releasing a tutorial in the next few days going over how to build these kinds of effects as well, if you want to build your own from scratch, along with a couple of free versions of this asset. So thank you so much for your interest, and thank you so much for your time. This has been Jordan from VFX Vault. I'll see you guys in the next one.